Our reading for this Holy Wednesday comes from the Gospel of Matthew in chapter 26. Then one of the 12, who was called Judas Iscariot, went to the chief priests and said, "What will you give me if I betray him to you?" They paid him 30 pieces of silver. And from that moment he began to look for an opportunity to betray him. On the first day of unleavened bread, the disciples came to Jesus saying, "Where do you want us to make the preparations for you to eat a Passover?" He said, "Go into the city to a certain man and say to him, 'The teacher says, my time is near. I will keep the Passover at your house with my disciples.'" So the disciples did as Jesus had directed them, and they prepared the Passover meal. When it was evening, he took his place with the 12. And while they were eating, he said, "Truly I tell you, one of you will betray me." And they became greatly distressed and began to say to him one after another, "Surely not I, Lord." He answered, "The one who has dipped his hand into the bowl with me will betray me. The Son of Man goes as it is written of him. But woe to that one by whom the Son of Man is betrayed. It would have been better for that one not to have been born." Judas, who betrayed him, said, "Surely not I, Rabbi." He replied, "You have said so." Similarly to last night, we hear again of the betrayal by Judas of Jesus for 30 pieces of silver. What have been our 30 pieces of silver, I wonder? Our materialism, our turning away, our rejection. We are assured of new life. We are assured of resurrection. When we pass through death, we will be loved through that experience in the same way that we were loved into life on this earth. But to get our resurrection and to get new life, there has to be an understanding of our betrayals. We need to, and I don't like this word, but repentance. It's a question of being honest with God and with ourselves. Because then the sacrifice of the Passover lamb of Jesus releases its power. Our Jewish friends will celebrate Passover next week and Pesach next weekend as we celebrate the great feast of Easter. We are all of the same tradition. We must never forget that Jesus was a Jew, and so were all of his friends. In other words, we're all in this together, regardless of where we come from. For me, at least, we're all aiming at the same mountain top. It's just a question of which side of the mountain we come from.
Rejoice in the Lord.